this is my API, my AppTrana portal. This is the same portal that we use for web applications also. So how we have built our API security module is we have incorporated into AppTrana, and it's a separate plan. And the workflows that we have built is kind of mirroring how we use it for web applications, so that our customers did not learn the usage of the product again, right? So once you log into the portal, you will get the dashboard like how you would generally get it. Moving on, this is I have currently onboarded a API host under the API security plan. So onboarding is very similar to how a web application gets onboarded. Customer has to give the API host where they have hosted their APIs, and then they have to route the traffic to us. And once they route the traffic to us, the protection will immediately start. So when the protection starts, we have API specific rules that has been created, and those would be applied in block mode from day zero. So how these API security rules work is we have certain set of rules which we are sure that there would be not much of an FPs. So these rules will be put in block mode from day zero, and then we will continually monitor these sites for 14 days. And the remaining set of rules which are in log mode will be monitored for, and we'll see how the traffics to these APIs are triggering these rules. We'll see if there are any FPs. If we are any FPs, then we will tweak those. And once that is done, these policies will be moved to block mode. The best part about this is the entire, all these things happen more or less transparent to the customers. So customers don't do any kind of heavy lifting. They'll be reached out if we need to understand any specific details about the APIs for us to fine tune better. But otherwise, generally, the work and the heavy lifting is done by our team. And the protection will be in full protection mode within 14 days. So in this case, we have onboarded this API host, the protection is on, and then we have also have certain identified certain vulnerabilities. As we already pointed out, one of the advantages of AppTrana is the risk-based approach. And if you can see here, what we are saying is, hey, we have found 10 vulnerabilities. Out of them, 2 are critical, 4 are high, and 4 are medium. And out of these 10 vulnerabilities, 4 are protected already by our default rule sets. 3 of them are protected by our positive security policies. 2 of them can be protected by custom rules. There is an option for customers to request for custom rules, and then 1 of them is already protected because the custom rule is already requested. So now you get a comprehensive view on what is your risk posture and how they are protected. And this is the biggest value add that we provide to our customers, right? So moving on to the detect page, this is where you get more details on the scanning side of things. So you get to know what are the vulnerabilities, what are the specific vulnerabilities. You can go into a granular details of what are to know more about it. And you also get to know how they are protected, right? So you get a very comprehensive view here. Customers can come and start API scans at any point of time. If the Postman files are not given, we would ask the customers to give those Postman files. But in this case, the Postman file is already there, so customers can come here and start the scan. So when the scan is started, few things happen at the back end, right? So when this Postman file is uploaded and the scan starts, what happens is a notification goes to our backend team also, who looks at these Postman files and sees that if all the details are there, and if there can be any additional details that can be added, which would help our automated scanner to identify more vulnerabilities. This is what we call as annotation of the Postman files. This is done by the backend team, and once they do that, they start the scanner for the automated scanner to go and find the vulnerabilities. So what the scanner would do is essentially it will iterate through the Postman files like this. It will have further details. So these are some of the annotations that our team does to ensure that the scanning is done properly. And once the scanning is done, the results will be published. Before publishing the results, one more step happens, which is that our manual team again is notified who will cross-verify these vulnerabilities for FPs and ensure that there are no FPs. And they will also look for if any vulnerabilities are missed, because there will be certain vulnerabilities that can be found only through the manual pen testing. So that will also be done. Those results will also be combined and published so that customers get a comprehensive view of their risk posture. Moving on from the protection perspective, customers get a complete view into how the protection is working, the various policies, how they are triggering, what is protected, where are the attacks coming from, which API is being attacked. All these information are readily visible in the portal for customers to drill down. The other part which we already highlighted was the positive security policy. So based on the Swagger files like this, which is already uploaded, what we would do is we would create a positive security policy around it. So for example, say the get account, the authorization key is a string. So we will create a positive security model around that. And if it is not a string, then we will block. So this part is automatically created. And based on that, the protection automatically starts and you get a good visibility into what is there, how it is working and what is allowed and what is blocked, right? Finally, the other side or part of things that I want to quickly brush through is the behavioral DDoS protection for APIs. So we have an behavior-based policies which we have created at the host level, then you can create it at that API levels too, so that the protection can immediately start and behavioral-based rate controls can be provided to protect your API service. We also have bot protection, which is again where we have modules which are API specific, which would help you, which is help us to identify the requests coming to these APIs and determine whether the bots are bad bots or good bots. And for each of these modules, risk scores are automatically added to the identity. And when the risk score goes beyond the threshold, then that will be blocked. So these are the major highlights of our API security policies, right? And the last but not least, because you have given us these Swagger files also. So what you can also do is you can look at the shadow APIs. So these are all the APIs that we know of. And then you can look for shadow APIs if any request that is coming in, which is not part of your definitions, and then see what are those requests and then take course correction around it, right? So those are the things that are possible and that is available as part of our API security.